Welcome to the night show, where it's always lit. I'm your host, Adam Hoff. Today, my special guests are the returning expert, Ben Diers, and our new special guest, Guillermo.
So, dude.
Tonight, we are talking about the classic short story, The Prisoner Who Wore Glasses, by Bessie Head.
You know, Adam, I'm a big fan of that story. The story actually takes place during South African apartheid, which was strict racial segregation, and it was kind of just the law of the land in South Africa at the time. Members of the black majority were often forced to live in homelands, or spans, as these particular characters were, and they were actually under the control of a warder who was often very cruel to these political prisoners, often used as slaves.
Interesting. What did you take away from the story?
Well, in the story, Bessie Head uses political prisoners as an example of how karma and treating others how you want to be treated is a good thing as a lesson for readers.
I agree.
You know, guys, this book is full of political prisoners.
What is a political prisoner?
A political prisoner is generally defined as someone imprisoned for his or her political activities, particularly those who criticize the government of their countries. And I got that quote from Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty.
So that's what they meant by political prisoners in the prisoners who wore glasses.
Yeah, the prisoners were under control of the warders, and the warders were often very cruel to these prisoners, even for no reason. They were basically slaves.
Yeah, the warder did treat them poorly.
In the story, on page 1027, Brill says, "I caught him in the act of stealing 5 bags of fertilizer, and we bribed him to keep my mouth shut." And he's talking about the warder in that particular quote.
According to Psychology Today, people faced by huge hardships are sometimes forced to steal when hungry to save their lives when they are in dire need. Ben and Guillermo, what are your thoughts on this?
I think that definition of stealing right there, why people steal, I think that kind of explains his motivation there, and he's not a good guy, and as you will read in the story, the span treats him horribly after he gets caught stealing. They blackmail him very, very badly.
Yeah, on that quote, I think he really has it coming for him because karma sets in. If you read the story, you'll learn later in the story that karma kind of comes around and kicks him in the behind.
Yes, karma is a real pain. Speaking of karma, how do you think karma plays a role in this story?
As I kind of said earlier, the warder gets caught stealing fertilizer by Brill, one of the span members, and he uses it as blackmail against him because the warder has not been nice to the span, so now the span is not being nice to the warder now that they have something to hold above him.
Yes, I remember reading this quote on page 1028. He said, "The thing between you and me must end." The warder really gets to the breaking point. The span just keeps tearing them apart and finally realizes they have to start working together.
Interesting. Well, that's about all the time we have. Thank you guys for coming. Remember, always treat others how you want to be treated. Signing off on the night show where it's always lit. Thank you guys for coming.